Hi, Tony Bradshaw with AddSomeToYourIncome.com here to answer the question of what should I say when I give money, or what do I write when I'm giving this money? And I look forward to sharing some of the favorite things that have been written to me, let you know what I think you should write, and then at the end, I'm going to talk a little bit about documentation or paperwork when it comes to your taxes. And so you know what to do when you get to that point. All right, let's dive in. So the first thing I'd like to show you is an envelope I actually just had on my desk, just took it off my desk, of money that came to me from my parents. My parents sent me a gift just a couple weeks ago. This arrived, and they had mentioned they were going to be sending some gift income, which is always wonderful. And I had put a couple of videos on this channel that you could look at about giving money and actually sitting down and giving money and then receiving a grant, which is always exciting. I received money, then a couple other ways in which money has come to me, and this was the one. So on this, my parents wrote, "Dear Tony, here it is. Have fun. We love you, Mom and Dad." So that's what they wrote, and the smiley face is very characteristic of knowing this is from my parents. Um, I think though that my favorite part wasn't the little note, but the on the edge of the envelope here in the back, imagining the smile on your face, and then of course the smiley face. I've received I've received gift income and just had little cards that are with it, a letter just telling me about what's happening in the person's life or based on our last conversation. I will say at this point, it's a great time to make sure you're clear about what the gift income is for. For example, if you want them to purchase coats for their kids, right? But we were talking, you mentioned you'd like to get new coats. Here is money for you to get new coats for your kids. So if you have expectations with that gift that it actually is going to turn into something else, if you're sending money for a holiday or birthdays, and you just can clearly state that this is for this person's birthday in what you're saying. So be sure to include that, and that's always nice to know on the receiving end that this is gift income for us to whatever it is. And so that's a great thing to say. If you're trying to be anonymous, it can kind of be fun, or even no note at all would be okay. The times when we've received anonymous gift income, which has happened, I will say once we got it in our mailbox, someone probably just drove up, dumped it in the mailbox. They didn't actually put it through the mail. I learned from our mail carrier that that's not legal. Apparently, we obviously happily accepted the gift. Uh, Bring it on. Anyone that knows where my house is, feel free to stop by. I will not report you. It's apparently that no one else except the owner of that mailbox is to open it. There you go. So, and that makes sense. It's a confidential spot to be. But yeah, we got some anonymous money that was put there. I have enjoyed giving anonymous money as well. And that's kind of fun. I did it through the mail by sending it to someone first, and then they send it on from there. So it's not even at my zip code, so they have no idea where those funds came from. It's fun to get out a stencil thing and write the note so that it's not my handwriting, it's a stencil. So you can't track it back to me, and that's kind of fun. Anyway, so what do you write then? You again, if you have a purpose for the money, you state that purpose for the money. If you just want to let them know, so here's someone is thinking of you, right? I'm thinking of you, and or wishing you better in your situation. I love notes where I've gotten money and it said, spend it how you'd like. Enjoy it. Enjoy an evening out with your kids. You know, kind of. This is where we get to the point where we think, all right, it's not really about the money. It's about the experience you're trying to give that person. You're trying to help that person somehow, right? That was actually what also helped us to ask better. We learned from people that wanted to give money to let them know the purpose of it. What is the need, especially if there is a need. And I say need almost in quotes because it's a need that's often more like a want. Like, we'd really like to be able to take our kids on a family vacation to see in South Dakota Mount Rushmore. And we know we've done our homework, it would cost this much, and we're $1,000 short. Okay, so would you help us with this need? Well, want, right? Like, would you help us with this dream, with this hope of ours? And that's where people really help a lot. I was talking with someone who was president of a PTA, and he talked about how he really helped that PTA to put the money inside of their coffers because they just had lots of money into programs and spend that money on the children in the school. And so I said, you know what? I'd like to know more about this. How can I better inspire the PTA to put money into the current students of the school? And he said, you know what you need to do? You need to make sure they understand the need. You need to figure out what the need is, be able to communicate the need, and have it be that they're going to fill that need. That's what the money is for. And so I look forward to it. I still haven't done it. This conversation was just a couple of weeks ago. And it makes sense because I've asked for money and I've asked and I'm like, this is my dream, this is my dream, this is my hope. And yet, how can I tie it into a need? How can I tie it into this solves a need at our school? And what does our school need, really? And then go from there. I'm a little bit to the side, but really not too far because it's about that gifting and that money. And I am remembering that I had promised to talk to you about tax documentation. The process of gifting money from you must have a tax documentation when it is above, the current amount is 14,000. I'm not sure. You can double check on the amount. I got up to 15,000 this year, 2021. At any rate, you need to report that. And that is a tax requirement. So, and again, try not to evade this because that's a significant chunk of change once you're getting $15,000. There are ways to work around that. For example, parent, say it's the mom, could give to the child. Parent, say it's the dad, could give to the child. Parent, let's say it's the mom again, could give to the husband of the child. Other parent could also give to the husband of the child. So you could end up with 4 different contributions, tax-wise, that would still allow you to gift that money and not needing to put it into that category of gifting. This is in the payout of inheritance money, that each year there's a certain amount the government will allow you to pay out that doesn't actually start to become such a large amount that needs to be reported from you as the giver. When that happens, you just want simple documentation. Even if you are under the amount that you have to report, it's great to have some type of documentation, a paper trail of some sort. It usually includes the actual agreement or something in writing, and it can have something, if you use a check, which seems so old these days, but that transfer of funds, you just want to have that documented so that when you process your taxes, that information is ready to go. I'm not an expert on this, but I am saying when you are gifting a certain amount of money, the documentation being there is very important to show I gifted, because you can show and still be within the tax requirements. You could say, I gifted this much to this person, I gifted this much to that person, and I am within my bounds, I'm within the amounts that I'm not needing to have it affect my taxes. And just having that documentation will help you, because if you get to the tax time and you've put out $60,000, well, where did all that $60,000 go? Then you'll have your documentation ready to go. And it doesn't need to be like notarized or fancy or anything. It can be signed between you and the person you give the money to. Wow, I love that you are giving. You are my kind of a person. And I look forward to seeing you on the other side.